if we have money to pay certain people, we will pay a portion at another level, so on and so forth. But we have to be able to get our production. We also will be looking, and I spoke to the media right here. When I said to them, some people ask me if we can fire people and all that. I said, no, we know we are talking about. But we have a lot of people we budget for that we might not just budget for. We also have people that we have vacancies in our various departments that we're supposed to cater for a budget, and we keep on catering every year for them. And here we ain't employing them. But what we really need is people employed in our drainage, and employed in cleaning our alleyways, and we need but part of people there to be able to deal with those issues rather than the 10 that we probably got. So those are the areas we have to focus on, and the 20% force work that the solid waste department is supposed to be doing, they got to do it right. If not, as I said before, we can make stern decisions here at the council as to exactly what we need to do and what is the right fit for this organization. So I thought I'd say that, and I'm opening the council for any other discussion. I saw Councilor Gary first, and I said, Councilor.
Mayor, while we're on this, I want to ask through the town clerk, to the solid waste management director, to give us an update on the bulky waste collection project that should have been embarked on, because I am from constituency 12 and I'm very dissatisfied with the work that was done. By whoever was supposed to do it under the director of the
bulky thing or the thing perfect pace.
I submitted to the director of management to make it to Walton around a schedule of how I'd like the bulky waste thing to be done in my constituency. He said he was giving me 4 days. I gave him day 1 where I wanted to go, day 2, day 3, day 4. On day 1, when I had my team on the road, which was the House team, and I didn't see the truck, I called him, and he told me he forgot that he was supposed to start my constituency that day. He was going to start the next day. So when you start tomorrow, use the same schedule, day 1, day 2, day 3. At 7 o'clock, when I didn't see him in the House team again, I called him, and he told me it was his bad. He didn't go to the House. Rather started in top Minister Pennington in front by Patricia Chase being councillor. I wondered if he was afraid of her and him ability capital and so on. Started there. I then shifted from Stevie House scheme and went to Turning Point and waited there for the truck because they had a certain area they should cover. When they reached the Turning Point, they took some money from the guy who was selling coconut there, took away all the coconut shells and went to where I didn't see them for the rest of the day. I didn't see them the Tuesday, I didn't see them the Wednesday, I didn't see them. Thursday, I called Mr. Lorraine and I told him I didn't see anybody in Guyana Park, I didn't see anybody in Topville on Lama Avenue, and I didn't see anybody in Jackson Street. He told me Saturday morning he would be sending back a truck that we mobilize people to be out there. Saturday morning, the truck driver called me and said where I wanted him. I told him I wanted him in Jackson Street. I already had people with the waste down there, and then I wanted him by in Lama Avenue. That is the back road that connects Guyana Park to Lama Park and to be seen to fire.
The thing move up to now?
No, up to now, sir. I went to them. I had all the people had all the waste. It's still there up to when on my way to come fetch all the fridges there. But constituency 12 was collected. I want to know who is paying these contractors and to do what. I didn't put out the constituency, but the truck work 1 or 1.5 day or 1 day and 1 trip in my constituency, and I'm not satisfied with what Mr. Ryan did because I went to the extent of giving him a schedule. The last statutory meeting, he acknowledged receiving that schedule from me, and still it wasn't followed. If you go to see House, you see all the fridges and old chairs that are still on the park. You go to Lamaha Park, you go to Top of the Terrace, it's still there. What Mr. Narayan did in those 4 days in constituency 12 only heaven can tell. The town clerk, sir, I would like Mr. Narayan to tell us what he did in constituency 12.
Thank you. and then he looked at you. Yes.
Speaking of constituency 12, when you compared to everybody, I was called and told the truck would be in my area. When I went over, I saw my truck. Number.
You have to block me.
So my girl, oh my God.
Block
I
me.
think it was on my
Block.
So I came up and I said, because there was a fridge and couple of stuff out there, I said, I was trying to collecting carton plates. After me collecting that, and two black in the truck, and then we collected some of the stuff. Please, I'm bad with my focus. No stuff. That's like brand new.
I know, first of all, collect the coconut shell.
But in our eyes, when we see the car coming to the right, and we complain to him about his truck, it's only picking up dry coconut in his truck. Mr. Ryan sent another truck, and he accompanied the truck. And as I said before, the $80,000 I was giving the guy truck to the truck on my street to go. And that compacted truck was filled with the questions of the chairs and the washing machine, and they left. Where they went after my street, I don't know. My street was prepared, and the truck was filled with capacity.
Nowhere else.
See, he didn't that. He didn't that.
Don't want to get you.
No, before you come to Fraser, let me hear from Mr. Ryan, because I'm dealing with constituency 12. So, TV. Mix it up. I know you've got two channels. Sorry.
Yeah. Your worship.
Who's a worship?
No, the worship. Council Garway reported, and I listened attentively. One part with a whole sequence. The first part we spoke about the day I supposed to start. Yes, I did that. I forgot. Yes, subsequent the next day, and we had 3 trucks in that constituency. Right? Hold on. We had 3 trucks in that constituency. A sitting council here saw one of the trucks, and he acknowledged it. That council, I don't think it's me. Right? Yes, Council David. Because he saw that. Yes, sir. The other truck that went into Madam Chase Green, the streets there, around there, yes, she complained about the picking up branches alone. We took another truck out to Toggle Terrace and bring it over. Clean that. So the trucks work in constituency 12. Council Garway, we all agreed. At last check, we reported that he had an issue. I did reach out to him, and I told him that. I told him I'm going to send back the truck Saturday. Saturday morning, I called Council Garway, he's still sleeping.
That's not true.
Right?
Don't come.
Council Garway. Anyway,
Hold up.
Let's go right now.
I
You can't see your phone is
anyway.
Don't come around with funny.
What I like to say,
That's it. No, that's not true. That is not true. What you said, we didn't follow this.
They want you were supposed to ban speak, no house, in fictional start like public school. He didn't do that. They told he should have gone to festival, he and our trumpet. He didn't do that. He did his own thing, sir. He did his own thing. He could only come and try to tell his children. Can't you sit down here that you can't be stupid about me or my constituency, my president? He did not. No 3 truck, no time 3 truck was in my constituency. For the time
really drop no time.
I was on the ground, I had my people on the ground, I can call him on the phone and I can say to you, Saturday morning, understand the truck, I told the truck driver, I want you to go to Jackson Street and meet me by Conqueror's Ground. When we pass the Conqueror's Ground, I stand up at Conqueror's Ground, waiting for 2 hours, no truck came. The truck went to Jackson Street, pick up the trucks and went away. Don't listen to right come and talk stupid here, yeah? I'm in the mood for you today, Mr. nothing, between Monday and Thursday, no time, none of those 4 days, with every 3 trucks in my constituency. Don't come here and tell lies. Don't come here with your illusions to me. Try to the other councillors. Don't try to me.
Your worship.
There was nothing done in the
Your worship.
outside of something that's
No. That is not true. That is not true. Right? Deputy Mayor, sitting Deputy Mayor. Right? Would have called after we cleared and said somebody came up with a fridge in front of her afterwards. Right?
Please don't purchase that. I never saw a truck. I said to
No, I
you
never
that-
said you said I saw a truck.
I said to you there's a black tag.
Yeah.
My yard, somebody flipped it. I would like you to be removed. If I have everything, we walk in your area 3 years ago, and you're saying,
Never.
I don't understand.
what I'm hearing here is this proposal that is presented.
Yeah. All the questions on the top. Mr. Mayor, for the 2nd of December, 2 days ago, I worked. When I reported first, when the present was how this work would be done regularly. On the Saturday, the day when I normally go to worship, I recognize also that another day in the comfort. I didn't say nothing that didn't work. Mr. Mayor, on the 22nd, when I called Mr. Murray, about 9:30, about 8:39, Mr. Murray told me that he had a problem in Independence Boulevard. I said, you call me back about 9:30.
Right.
Called Mr. Murray several times after during the day. I didn't get him, and I reached out to the town clerk with a message. I said, this was happening. The following day, Saturday, Mr. Murray tell me to the church, go over and see me Saturday. Right? I was preparing to go to church, but he called me and said to me that he's selling a truck, and it is starting, and he's selling a truck one, and he's going to give me a number that I'm not going to write down, he will text the number to me. And he continues to say that the truck will start from Durban Street. I said, sir, no, you can't start from Durban Street. I know where so could you tell me where to send my man? You can't tell me where to send my man. No, sorry, you know. This was the point I was speaking to. Because I anticipate something and I know what happens most times. When Mr. Narayan during this time tells you that he sent a truck, don't go and tell anybody put out anything on the roof because you're going to be embarrassed. Because that more than once and I had to call other people to come and help me to be able to spread the law. In one of the tests I saw in the same group of the of Sally Grace, I saw where he made statement to the effect that I said that I don't want the truck and I'm going to get rid of it. I can trade with my area. Never. One this time when he cut the road. Right? But the mayor, I decided not to go to church over and I went and the road is supposed to happen. It took about how we were going to locate the man and locate the truck. By then I saw Mr. Narayan, well, because of the fact that Mr. Narayan told me to get it still with a number. I called the guy and located them at the back of the police station at this street. On checking with the man told me they already adopted 9:30. They already finished Princess Street. They already finished Norton Street. And they are in a Peace Street. And on my way coming, on Durban Street opposite the yard, there were 2 or 3 small opposite the road. And some other things right in the thing there. But they finished that area. And they were now going to some other place. And when Mr. Narayan came up and met me there, he said to the guy that he saw something in Prince Street that he was going to do. I had indicated it again because after at that point he sent me a message saying to me, look, you can coordinate the activity. After he told me initially that I can't tell him where to send his men. I said, well, but this is a coast operation, and we got to know where we need these trucks. And he always told them. So when I started with this, I decided to talk to the supervisor on the ground and then drive on the truck. I said, look, here we can do. Because you're in this area, the back of the station, you can go around there, come through the whole street, and take the whole of Bed Street. And I don't know what time you do, because you place it on this red check, and I still something. And the guy said, you couldn't go in the street because the street was too narrow. I said, well, you will go around by George Beer Garden, they sell off license stuff. And you start Bed Street and you're going up. The final thing he said to me is that, you know, Mr. Narren said they got something on a street. So let me go on a street. And when I paint that street, I'll go around there, but you pick up the thing up with the street, and then come in from that industry into the on my check on the industry. All are my full house. Industry garbage was not picked up, people put up like they wanted because you guys was. And I was thinking about the day before Christmas Eve, the whole area of boats that were labeled there. So I reach out to the supervisor and say, here what I'm doing. Garbage and pick up in the street. So make sure you come in the street. And don't tell the people about the thing to bring up. Y'all can't make these people garbage. Because it's too many. And I just start at one point, some people suffer the garbage and Christmas Eve. So that's why I indicate to the guy. When I reach out to Mr. Narren said he knows. He knows. And he's going to sell a truck. When I check the day, the truck is time there. The garbage is still. When I check Christmas Eve day, the garbage is still there in the morning. I reach out to Mr. Narren again. He said, yes, he told me yesterday afternoon or this morning in the truck. I'm happy to go to the truck and actually arrive. Because I told Mr. Narren, and I have it on the phone also. He's telling me back a voice note that I can't know unless people put him to block the street and come so must do this and come see what's lecturing me. But it's on that notice me having seen what's going on and trying to make sure the streets are blocked. I believe we got to talk to But I'm convinced, sorry, I want to answer that don't let us talk sequence. Let me sit down and give us a report at the very next meeting. Just give us a report as to all that you did, which area you did, because I understand this thing to mean that the town clerk that Mr. Narren is supposed to serve, communicating you give us an agenda, you should communicate and let us know we are coming. And I have all I would just know.
That the exercise organized by Mr. Narren and his team, a report should be placed before the statutory committee in writing. Yeah, of the hearing done on the 4th of December to the 31st of December. The hearing that will cover the trust. Whatever problems we had, those were also listed. And we can move forward. Because we can hear everything from we had a problem.
Noted.
Everyone.
Noted. So, Mr. Narine, you have to provide us with a report to the top clerk so that we will discuss it back at our next time. I hope you're going to the same issue.
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm going totally different on this one. Because I want to suggest to council, from all that I've heard, this project that was supposed to be executed has failed.
Yes.
Well,
I haven't seen the report, but that's what I'm saying. I want to suggest to you, sir, and I'm proposing that in our new, because it seems to me as though Mr. Narine is obsessed with technician blinders concept, where he wants to make sure that his title is repeated. Solid Waste Management Director. 80% of the garbage in this city is collected through contractors. You said 20% is what we do. I'm suggesting on our new budget cycle. No, hear what I'm saying, sir. The budget cycle that is coming up, that we do, and I'm hopeful that the human resource manager will take account of the evidence that we're getting here, so that in reviewing the budget coming up for 2024, a comprehensive kind of review will be done for the solid waste department.
But not for
So-
the department, many others.
And the other department, but the solid waste department, so we can get our money's worth in relation to what obtains in that department.
Very well. I can push but Councilor dancing.
Yeah, and be very brief.
Yeah.
Thanks. I had a epiphany, eureka moment of the holidays, whatever, just driving around, looking at things. And to me, it's very, very clear that the city is outgrowing or outgrown this council. Because of the general way our country is going.
Get again. The city has not grown.
Yeah.
Because
Because of more money generation, more goods, more services are needed to service a country that's growing at 8 to 10% a year. Now, maybe we can, rather than just sit and pontificate and fuss about this constituency and that constituency, why don't we put our heads together, get a group of 5, Mr. Mayor, maybe 3 from your side, 2 from our side, and if you're planning to meet, something. It does have to happen. Create a new committee where what we exclusively, we don't deal with problems. We look at forward problems, where it's going, where our country is going, and plan to deal with that. Because we're 2 to 5 steps behind all the time, 2 to 5 years behind. So once you might say, oh, administration didn't do this or this, and we point fingers all day. But we need to look at the bigger picture, the broader picture of where the country, everything is going, and it's going at a fast rate that is outstripping our ability to service that. Just right now.
I hear you. I had my own, and I gather other councils also thinking along different lines to find a solution. And I'm of the view that we have our councils, we continue to have our administration, but they need to be in addition to that, so that because the government themselves got to understand that we need to be able to get the kind of resources also. So all this comes down to resources as well, because you could have all the fancy ideas, but if you don't get the resources to be able to treat with it.
Well, that's the committee would have to.
So that's why I'm also proposing that in addition to the council, something of where if the government know that because they can't just keep holding us to ransom because we're all.
So objection.
I want to end my point that you get it out. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm saying that in order for us to be able to collectively, because at the end of the day, we're all here as a collective. Whenever blame go past, it's not APNU or PVP. It's all of us as a collective. So we have the issue of long-standing issue of audits and something trying to treat where we are. But while the grass growing, the harvest and stuff. So we need to find an interim arrangement or something that could be able to be done as it relates to maybe like a task force. A task force involved the councillors, private sector, and some others, and to put sort of things so that at least we could channel those monies to be able to benefit. That will eventually benefit us. So that if you say that the council want to put the hand in the cookie jar or we want to determine, we won't be determining that. That what that will involve central government, city council, private sector, whoever else, other professionals will be able to deal with that so that this developmental process that you talk about will happen anyhow, while all the other systems are being put in place to be able to treat with that. So it's something that I myself have been thinking about. I've had private sector persons who have been engaging me on these issues and other civil-minded persons to be able to look at that and where we can treat with that. So maybe I say that whenever that opportunity arises where we have a chance to meet with His Excellency and other ministers that he may have appointed to treat with it, we will treat with this discussion because really and truly, while we're trying to do what we got to do, we still are settled with with not having the tools or resources to deal with it. So we have to find some process in between that to keep that going and keep the system going. So I'm aligned with what you're saying,
That's all.
and I know that we have to find a solution to fit with it. Moving forward. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, well, listen, what you can do January 20th, at your next council, you can put the council into a committee. You can ask, move a motion that the entire council go into committee format, where you put the mayor's part of there. We discuss all those ideas that you have, and you come with a decision. When you finish with that decision, you put the mayor's mark, and that is recorded as a statutory decision. What you have mentioned about members of different agencies, they belong gives the council the authority to form such committee, but it has to be managed by a council. It has to be the head.
Right.
So therefore, those are things that can happen.
Yes.
And if we go into committee form, and of course, that's in 2024, we can look at all of those areas. All the councils have ideas they can bring between now and the January together. So at committee level of the council, not individual committees, we can have a decision and the committee forms, which will include all the private sector, the other half, and we move forward.
Oh, Councilor Powell, sorry.
All right.
I just want to make a comment. I recognize that we have many challenges. Most of the problem we have, even with the admin staff, sometimes we overlook it. It's a function of resources. You know, I know we will not discuss the reports today, but if you carefully analyze it, you'll see where we are. We would have budgeted about $2.3 billion to run this city, which is 70 square kilometers. It is believed the population in Jersey is 230,000 people. That money is locally active. We have to find no streams of revenue. You can't run the city without money, without manpower, and the team. We need that. In the past, several ideas were floated. We need to revisit those ideas. Whether it's parking meter, whether it's lotto, whatever it's. Unfortunately, we need a conversation with the public. We have to be sincere and open. Let us have that discussion. We must also constructively engage central government. We cannot run away from that. And so as we plan, let us think about that. Because $2.3 billion cannot run and manage the city. We can take into consideration. Let us look at what is happening. We are responsible for open spaces, the burial ground, all municipal road drainage and so on. For example, let us ask this. Recently, central government resurfacing roads in Alberton and Kingston. Kingston. It's a large amount of money we're expending. We don't have that. So we have to sit down, all of us, regardless whether we are PPP or 7, let us sit down and have a frank discussion, and we can move this council forward. So thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Outside of that, I think we also have to proceed, because I will allow you some remarks from you, then I will look at responses to that, and then we'll move to the item and see if we can close up.
Yeah, like you want. Sir, I have. Sir, just to notify the council, the local government commission has approved the lead roster for 2024. It was returned to the council and has been circulated to the various heads of department to ensure that all staff are catered for. I received, okay, before I go to this, I had written to the National Insurance Scheme requesting consideration for the waiver of interest, which were accumulated on the council's account over the past years. I did receive, the first time I wrote, I received a response from them stating that they will not waive the interest. However, I can remember having a conversation with Deputy Mayor, and she had given me some advice on how to approach the situation, and I have since written again to NIS, and I received a response from them. I would like to read the response for the knowledge of the council. It says, "Dear Ms. Nelson, waiver of NIS interest request. The matter at caption refers, acknowledgement is hereby made of your letter dated 20th September 2023 that was addressed to the chairman of the National Insurance Board. You are hereby advised that the National Insurance Board has taken the stance that it will not waive any interest incurred by your entity for the period of non-payment. Due to the aforementioned, kindly make all efforts to honor all debts due to the scheme in a timely manner." So I believe this is another issue that the council will soon have to start looking at, how we're going to pay the interest, because while we have the arrangements where we're paying the current amount and one backdated amount, we're only paying the principal on the backdated amount because we were hopeful that the interest would be waived. I was made to understand that although the checks are received by NIS, they're not applied because of the non-payment of the interest. So I believe that is something that we need to look at the council to decide how we're going to deal with the issue of NIS and the non-payment of the interest.
I guess, TC, that you'll need a meeting with those first. So I hear you in relation to the response that you've had, but this matter is very dire, and we will definitely need to meet with them. So I suggest I'm part of the finance committee, so I will lead a meeting with the finance committee, so to meet with them. This letter suggests the venue for the meeting. I think we met before at some
Yes.
best up, but let us meet again.
Sure.
All right.
Well-
I will also raise with them the issue concerning the GRA building. It's their building. And that the amount that they pay, and that obviously they've been paying the old rates. And we'd ask them to go and get a valuation from the rating people, which will speak to how long they own the building, and how much interest they want. So when we calculate all of that, and we have that kind of amount, then we'll determine a bit go forward. So we'll have that as part of the discussion.
Yes. Sir, those are my announcements.
We're at- Should we do the responses to the decision and then move on? Or we should leave that for the next meeting?
No, let's do the responses.
Yeah.
So let's proceed. So,
Engineers.
right, but one thing, let's go through the decision and then we move to the engineer. So I have 4 responses to the decision of statutory, which will be page 1627. Sixteen 27, 16 28, 16 29, 16 30.
The primary, the 368.
1620.
You want to recommend to that?
Yes, I just have a question. Did this meeting happen?
Which meeting is that? Which number?
The
No,
368. The human resources,
this meeting didn't happen. It says there, the meeting was postponed.
To the left of Yeah, it's there.
yeah, was it rescheduled?
So we got a
Not
date,
as yet.
but it will be, the,
It will be communicated.
DC, make sure you put that in the council thing, because, I want as much council to be part of this.
Will do, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make an observation, sir, because I want to make a recommittal to 1627. Yeah, and it's more or less. No. I have a way of checking all over what is happening at council and the page and so on. But I saw here approval has been given to hire 2 additional clerks, which we agreed. So that's one of the decisions. But I don't know, but I seem to recall that our engagement with the local government, there was a specific issue in relation to us having the treasurer in place, that a number of things couldn't happen. But we were able to get around that and got a person in place. But those other acting posts that we got in this council are supposed to be addressed collectively. But I noticed on our page, I have it on the phone, that the town clerk has advertised for a treasurer. I don't know whether this includes the other people who are acting, but I noticed that advertisement. I don't know on what basis. No. We have a treasurer in place.
No.
Who's acting?
No.
I just don't know. But I saw that and I thought that our position, having been elucidated with the local government commission, was the way in which we would go approaching this matter. But it ought to have been addressing all those other kind of positions that we have. But I would like to hear from the doctor.
Go ahead.
Sir, if you could recall, when we were having the issues with finding the treasurer, the correspondence that came from the LGC and the communication was that we were trying to find somebody for 2 months. And by the end of that period, that we were going to find somebody, well, the LGC was going to find a treasurer to be in that position. So during that time when we did not have a treasurer, we were trying to find somebody to fill that position for a 2 months, either 2 or 3 months period. Yeah, 3 months, right? And that would have given us enough time to find that treasurer. So given the emergency of that, right, we had to advertise that particular position.
Hold on, let me check the card. On the right track. Check the email.
Yeah, it was for a specific period. We had to find somebody.
Okay. In that mail, the mail that was sent to us concerning that, or the letter that was sent to the local government commission, and it was also based on a decision that we took.
From the finance committee.
No. It is a
Human Resource Committee.
we're talking about the full council.
Yeah.
Full council, because I think the day in question, the CEO were we had a discussion on the matter, and then you eventually got some
Yeah.
email, which I also got.
Yeah.
For the meeting itself. I didn't get a chance to see that email, which came around 12 something. But it said here, well, we allowed for the active person to act. And then they also wrote back a letter confirming that based on our decision that we accept
Yes.
that this person is gonna.
Yeah.
It says here, after appointments on the area, and then under number 4.
Once a month,
It
please.
says Ms. Gorshi, or guest, stores for act in the capacity of city treasurer on a month-to-month basis.
Yes.
Right? Until the vacancy is filled. Correct. So that's, remember that's item 1. Now, I heard Councilor Hines on this.
Month to month.
That is an item by itself.
Yes.
Which we dealt with. The issue concerning cost advertising has to come back to the committee, and then it will come to the full council in order for us to send it to the
Thank you, sir.
local government commission.
No.
It's not a case you have to, no, I said this. No, I can't be writing about it. I already think about it. No. It has to be, while they say it's not a month-to-month until it's filled. it's the council who put systems in place or make a recommendation to it to be done.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm guided, so I really want us to discuss this. I didn't really know of this issue as Mr. Hines or Councilor Hines suggested. I'm guided by through you up to the human resource. Could you advise the council on what is the procedure so that we can then look at this matter and treat with it in time?
Yes, that point to March.
All the time it was that period by Charlie.
Yeah, purely different councillors.
Yes.
As it relates to the procedure, generally the procedure is that if there is a vacancy in the system, it is tabled before the Human Resource Management Committee in order for the committee to make a recommendation that the post be filled by virtue of advertisements.
Right.
That recommendation goes to the full council for its ratification. Once the report is ratified, the local government commission is notified by way of letter that the council is desirous of filling this particular vacancy, and then the LGC would send the approval in order for the council to proceed. However, Mr. Chairman, with respect to this particular instance, it's a case where an employee who was acting in a post is now vacating that post by virtue of her retirement. When the approval was given for early retirement, at that time, no determination was made as to who's to act. There were some back and forth recommendations from the council, etc. Nonetheless, at the end of the day, the local government commission sent approval for Ms. Ugoshi Carol or Gister to act in the post on a month-to-month basis until the vacancy is filled. Mr. Chairman, it should be deduced by any reasonable man that entails that the council should proceed with an advertisement so that post can be filled. There is absolutely no need for the matter to be tabled before the HR committee and again before council, because it's saying until the vacancy is filled, and that gives the council the authority to advertise for that post so that it can be filled.
Yeah, I heard you. Go ahead, Councilor.
I heard the human resource manager. I like her views most times. But I'm saying that item which we address have that vacancy filled. It means, but she used the word any person with understanding the process goes would know that action has to be taken to have that vacancy. But my understanding is that it matters because it is not just one issue. There are a number of issues which we raise at the level of the local government, the commission, and they advise us how this matter can be addressed, how it can be addressed. And I am saying that since council collaborating with the commission fill that vacancy, we go back to the thing where we're looking at everybody now, not just the treasurer. We're looking at persons who are acting to see how we can fill those vacancies and other vacancies. That is my understanding. I don't know that we automatically just put at just one single point. There are other. All right,
let me speak on this now. I think myself, the deputy mayor, Councilor Garaway, Mr. Aaron Short, Councilor Hines. That was it now. Met with the local government commission. That was the four of us, right? That was the budget, right? So when we met with them, outside of, I'm speaking generally now, outside of what this issue of the vacancy and all that, and I would like to speak to this issue as it relates to what Ms. Jarek said, that Ms. Miller was also acting. So not that she was conformed and the position came vacant because she was an acting person as well. So there's always that acting position. We got so much acting positions here anyhow. And we need to remedy that. Now, the issue at hand, Mr. Hines, you was the one who raised this matter.
Yes.
Where you going from?
I'll be back. But I'm hearing you
Right, so now that this position became vacant again, in this case, the lady retired, but she was also active, she been there for a few years. But one of the things we raised, I think, Councilor Garvey could add to this if he so feels, is we have these different positions in these different departments. But one of the departments that have lots of people acting from the lower up right up to the higher up is a significant challenge. There may not be this issue in other departments, but in the Treasurer's Department, one of the things we had in the discussion with the Local Government Commission is that we have to look among the various persons in those departments and treat with them from a point of view where we have some performance appraisal. Am I right to say that, Councilor? So we have to look at some performance appraisals to bring people up so that in the future, if they have instances of persons acting or whatever, they will not be having this grand supersession. We must be having one that must supersede maybe one or two persons rather than superseding from a scale lower down right up to a scale higher up. So those are things that we suggested to them that we will treat with. And when we remedy that situation, then we'll be able to also put out the advertisement in relation to not only treasurer, but any other persons or any other positions that we have in relation to those that need to be filled. And that is something, those are the discussions we had with them to speak to this and to allow for this to happen, because we call it, as my good friend said, due process. And we want due process to be put in place rather than having people superseding people from right up to the bottom, right up to the top, and that kind of situation. So that was the next step in that direction, which will then allow for us to determine all and whoever else we need to advertise from poor acting, or also figure out ways in which we could get those persons also confirmed. And we had that discussion with them as well. They sent me some information on the laws and public service laws and all of that. So those are things I'll be looking at. So even though I see this thing was on the Facebook.
Oversight.
But I'm saying, even though it may be there, I feel it's premature for us to do that. I would want us to have another discourse with the Local Government Commission based on our previous discussion. Explain to them what steps we want to put in place to have persons get conformed higher up, and then we will look at from a holistic standpoint as all the people that we need to we plan to advertise and who else we also need to get conformed. So those are things we will treat with and have them get some agreement towards those issues, and that can take forever. But for us to move, because for us to be able to treat with the issue of one person over all the others, I think that doesn't really make sense, because the things we spoke about was how we could really and truly deal with the performance appraisal of our staff so that we don't end up back in the same boo-boo again and again and again and again. We want to regularize things and fix it once and for all. So we will use this opportunity at this phase in which to treat with that. So I like you, Councilor Hines, feel that we shouldn't be treating with that, because the discussion we had, and I believe Councilor Garrett want you to attest to this, where we stood on that and what else we need to do. So Councilor Garrett, please speak on this one.
I agree that the advertisement for the treasurer is kind of premature, given the fact that we have other senior officers acting for years, and we are not at rush to have them conform and have those vacancies advertised. I don't really want to speak much on the discussion that we have with the Local Government Commission. You know what are my feelings on that. Local government, the two representatives, the chairman, the secretary, and the former minister stood there, staring in our faces and lied to us. They told us that every time we send a recommendation there, they will not approve of it they send back to this council reasons why they do not. And when we come back and question the town clerk and the human resource manager about it, they say no such correspondence comes to them from the local government commission, which means that the local government commission start there looking at our places in light. I don't really want to quote much from the local government, especially those three that we met with. But the discussions led to that we would meet with them sometime in the future to discuss successional planning within the council, because I was concerned about removing a junior rank to the persons who are more qualified than them and so on to act. And they told us that we need to come back to them. We probably will have to involve the human resource manager in those discussions so that we can have successional planning within the administration, the council, so that you know the treasurer is going off, who's next in line to take over there. Now when the treasurer submit a resignation, or in this case, she didn't resign, she retired. You done searching all over the place to somebody. If we have proper successional planning within the organization, then we know who's next in line, who will take over from her. And so they told us that we would come back to them to have those discussions, and then we would have the appraisals done within the organization, and then we would decide who, because there's some persons who actually you don't really need to advertise the vacancy, you just confirm them in the position because they qualify for it. And then there's some who are acting who are not really academically qualified for it. So you advertise the vacancy, but at the same time, you allow that person to apply for the job, go through the interview process, and whoever comes out on top, comes out on top. Those are the discussions we had with the local government commission. What is said to the administration has to be left is something, and because I don't trust anything that they say to us. But I'm just concerned that the vacancy is now being advertised for a treasurer when we have the town clerk, the human resource manager, all the top brass in the administration is acting, and we're not rushing to fill those vacancies. We're not making it a priority to conform or to fill those vacancies. Why is it that we want to fill the vacancy of the treasurer so urgent? Then because the guy was acting. So nothing is wrong with the current person acting as treasurer, because all the other top posts in the council acting positions. If we're going to fill, let us fill all. Let us conform all. That's my only concern.
I thank you. And I'm saying too that until we could really and truly get the right balance of where we're supposed to sign, I think that's somebody picking up something else. Pick it up. Yeah.
All right, sir.
Until we can get to that point where we fix the issue, we get the succession in place, and then we determine where we're at. Because based on that, then we'll say here, well, we got to fill this. We can't conform these people because they don't allow us. They want us to openly advertise. We will then deal with that. But firstly, we need to get the right balance and the right successional plan in place before we can then treat with that. And that's something that take forever. That take within another month or thereabout. And then we should move to have 1, 2, 3, how much portion we need to have. But I also would like to stick a pin, TC, and I want you to advise me on this. We had this matter concerning town clerk, deputy city engineer, treasurer, and all these persons in court. I'm not sure the status of that matter based on the last local government commission issue. So we also need to take that into consideration as well when we're going to choose to move to treat with the advertisement of those offices. I think that. Yeah. So tell us. I'm not sure if you know if you have the what?
No conference.
No. All right. I just but so TP advise me.
No, that's when they were trying to report court was not to the appointment of the person when they get on the advertisement. Yeah. So the conference
Sorry, Oh, the board is yours.
Oh, I know. You could address this matter.
Sir, I really don't have a lot of information in relation to that matter. I am aware that there was a court matter against the local government commission as it relates to the filling of vacancies in
Yes.
2020. But Ms. Jerry just informed me that it's Mr. Darren Wade who was actually the attorney
No.
representing the
No,
council in that matter.
that's right.
It was? Oh, well, I
So
don't
what I'm
have
saying is that
information.
this is something we also need to get to the bottom of, because if we should make a decision when it matters also subject to this, we have to also be careful as to how we treat such matters. And here, I heard my senior councilor here in the council, who been down this road many times.
Either withdraw the matter. Sir, either withdraw the matter.
Well, so even, again, the premature nature of what we're doing is also, has to be considered. So I say that, in relation to the advertisement that was out there, I didn't see the advertisement myself. This council is asking that be withdrawn. And until we meet with the local government commission to determine another way forward, we will treat with that, which will then lead to us moving to advertisement. And like Councilor Green said, we have to pick up the matter, the action, and decide what steps we want to take. We have to withdraw it and do what we have to do to allow for the opening of these various portions to be able to apply. So in this case, in relation to the matter, in relation to the advertisement that we had on the Facebook page, opening or having the opportunity to treat or persons who want to apply to be the treasurer, we're asking that be withdrawn until we determine the way forward to the local government. Those in favor? Yeah.
That particular matter. Because it's compared to the matter to the court.
No, it wasn't me.
Mayor, you rushed around, you took that matter.
No, the council.
No.
She said, yeah,
Oh, well, I didn't.
The council.
So I'm saying that where we sit at this time, do you want me to repeat that position or everybody? All right, the advertisement that was placed on the Facebook page, opening the opportunity to apply for persons in the treasurer, we asking that be removed or recall until we have a meeting with the local government commission to trash out our succession plan, and then we'll determine how we'll open up based also on the issue that's before the court. Those in favor, please do by the showing of your hand. Those against? Those in abstention? There we go. The ayes have it. All right, you see push it, we have to continue the decision, right? You raised that matter under somewhere along the
Under yes, sir.
So we have 1629, 1630, 1631, 1632, 1633, 1634. Councilor Alfonso,
Just a question on decision 390.
390?
Yes. 1634. 1634.
legal advice on
Yes.
this. President, you said this, oh, you want to ask a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Oh, good.
It says that the legal advice to the attorney be honored and an investigation be done to determine if the other lessee will be affected. What's the status of the investigation? Been launched? It's been a month, and I just want to know what the scope of the investigation is. Who's conducting it? Its status.
Said, based on this particular area in question, I think there was also some other persons who was affected. TC might have to check our system to figure that out. But the advice that we're seeking is on the issue concerning green development. Mr. Glassford was able to provide that advice. Or you just said the
Sir, the advice was received by the council and tabled, and it is based on that. It is that advice actually that was tabled at the Legal Affairs and Finance Committee meeting. And I believe what the councillor is asking is based on the recommendation of the item, where the committee asked if there would be any other persons affected as green developers. Sir, so far, checking through the documents that I have in my office, I have not seen anything that corresponds with that area, and nobody else has came forward as well to say that they're facing the same challenges as
Night Rider is one of those.
they have not come forward to say
Night
anything.
Rider.
Nobody says
Night
anything.
Rider bus service. One. Not sure if they came forward, but I mean, at the end of the day, they might call at some point, so. So let me just, I know for sure they were there. And they were affected, so maybe, I'm not sure if the government may offer them some other place somewhere.
I'm not sure.
But I will check. I think you check with them. You want to check with them? Because they were part of the.
I was advised that they were granted a lease or they were interested in leasing a portion close to where Green Developers was granted that lease. But like I said, I haven't seen anything so far to that effect. And they too have not came forward to say.
They have been there for some time. I came and I met them under the council. They've been there for 10 years and they've been actively there. I
But
know
they're
that-
not affected.
So I think we should engage them in something. Pick up your leads and then write them an answer for sponsors. At least we could. You can answer the council or sponsors question.
They're not
They're supposed to,
they're not complaining to you.
All right. 16th or that was a recommendal or that was on that page. 16th or 5. 16th or the 6th. 16th or the 7th. 16th or the 8th. 16th or the 9th. Let's see if we get anything right on 16th party. It comes to the 6.5 across the board. So this is sent to the people. 5,000 on us. How we come with put it easy to the church. You're laughing.
Let's come back to Johnny Walker. Friday, Friday. You know the guy. Just went to the
You could speak to us, treasurer.
Oh, so he's still working on doing it. Training. All right, so do they have to pay Sir, we have the programmer still working on when he started working on a supplemental payroll in order to facilitate that payment. However, the treasurer has indicated that the payments will be made by Friday.
Between now and Friday.
Yes.
Great. Now, in relation to that retroactive payment, that indicated in the decision part of it.
Yeah.
This is more like, say the council agreed that retroactive payment be done
Bye, Mark.
By March. Right, we done. Yeah, in the staggered report, just naturally say that. By March, meaning the staggered along
Yeah,
from
as we
January
get
to March.
money.
Right?
Okay.
Great.
17, 18.
PC, could you raise the matter item under, yeah, the nearest to
Engineer's
the
report.
to that matter, that we record the other matters. But date that you can give me, tell me what the next date you have in mind?
Little big men to send this.
Or if, because the current is that date. Yeah, tell me the date.
Okay. We just discussed the Maryland construction before we.
On the other business.
Sir, today is the 27th. Next week we have a short week, given that Mondays are holidays. We have 4 working days next week. Then the following Monday, which is the 8th, is statutory meeting. So we, yes, on the 8th of January. Yeah, finish it and deal with it.
But, councillors, are you okay?
Yeah, sure.
You want something else?
Mr. Mayor, on the 13th of December.
No, we now finish up this thing. We want to decide on the date.
Oh, yeah.
And then we come into the part, we come to you. So you see,
January 8th.
January, we can
Yeah.
continue this meeting.
Yes.
First,
And
we'll
finish.
walk with your package
Yes.
again, and then we'll add the next agenda. All right? All right, so, what, so that will be, what is the 8th, right?
Yes, sir.
Close out the- Right. The plan that I did, we have some in the other business and then we have it. The engineer report. And then you bring up on the other business.
No. The plan, the new one.
At the same time, we just here. Oh, I know we are already. The engineer plan.
Oh, yes, sir. Page 17, 18, there's a list of plans which were returned from Central Housing and Planning Authority in the city engineers department's report, and asking for the approval of same so that those persons can receive their plans.
This is plan to serve, return that housing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. These guys are here for approval.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you want to take off? Yeah. So these, yes. But
I remember previously, the gentleman is chartered accountant, he's living in Ramana. Right, and he had a problem with what was going on in that. He was supported by the community. What? It's a residential. Over the years, the transformation in. I see something here for business. I don't know what is the nature of the business. And they're parks. But in every other parties, along our gardens, in every ward in this city, we're making them, converting them into mixed land use. And that's not good. If you're living in a residential zone, it's ought to be a residential zone. We have to stop mixing land use. We create conflict, too much conflict within communities. Right? And this is unacceptable. And we have to work with our engineer, and they must try to understand. I think I did mention earlier, we need to go back and zone this city properly. And so it is clear, and maybe somewhere online, people would know. So they would not come with certain things and submit for approval, because they know it will be accepted, because this area is strictly residential. We cannot be mixing the land use all the time. Nobody coming next to me and put no business where I live in the land street. I know that. I don't take personal action. Thank you.
I agree with you, Councillor. Before I make my comments, I will allow Councillor Fraser, who has his hand up, to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the 30th of December, we at the small community, the city work commission, along with the engineers staff, look at some plans. And none of these plans that came back to central plan that came forth as to people related were wrong in this work. There were two that came, we had some issue with one, and I'm afraid just like how we had an issue with this one that came back to central plan, because so often when we set up plans that was central plan, we don't look at all the fine details and all the places they have to do with when you change of use. You said this is the central plan goes up. Then it come back to us. Then when we check to see all the other criteria are met. In this case, sir, this plan, to the best of my knowledge, did not come to us. And I don't know what we can rush. I would want to think that it goes through the state process again, and then we treat it. But my verified, I'm presuming now, my verified is students. With these same plans, we come one or two that come to central plan. We have to deal with before they come to get.
So you're saying, no, not validacy, I repeat. You're saying that because the committee wasn't in play and operating, you're not certain.
But not because the committee was not there. I'm saying the committee met the 30%.
Yes.
And if these plans were among those that had to come to central plan, that to come to the committee, was to look at them, then we would have seen it. And it did not come.
So when the plan come back, you now miss it.
Yes.
And then it comes out.
Yes. That is not happening this day. I want to know if you are. And if it's not, then sorry.
You see, you didn't get a chance to do that.
Yes. You were there.
Right. Let me say too, that even though I know it's the lady process to some extent, but again, you want to be very much guided as to where you approve. And I also see two plans here, and I think Councillor Alfonso would want to agree, just like how Councillor Saul spoke about Lemahar Gardens as well as Bennett Park. Those are residential areas.
Yes.
And I see here both of these places are businesses.
Yeah.
So I have a concern because the people can ask me the question and they can ask you because you know the bombarders in that. So I strongly believe that we should take these plans back to the small committee for evaluation, and then we look at the approval of it at another time based on that. But I see Councillor Green's hand, but before he Councillor Green, let me hear from Mr. Venture. If he could justify a different direction.
Mr. Mayor,
Venture.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I believe the time frame in which or the complaints that we've been getting over the years as it relates to the long processing of the plans, I believe that may have led to the conception of a single window system.
Right.
These plans, it is only of the last council that implemented that these plans must go to subcommittee. If this plan goes to subcommittee, it is further lengthening the system. The plans are going to CHMP and they come back here for approval. These plans is for the full council to approve, not the subcommittee to approve. And if it's a case now, sir, if it's a case in which you have the concerns of the businesses popping up in various areas, I believe we ought to re-engage the Central Housing and Planning Authority as it relates to the concerns that we have or the council has, as it relates to the businesses and where these businesses are popping up. We don't have control in terms of the zoning. The zoning lies in the responsibility of CHNPA. We could then look, the council could look at, oh, here we don't want businesses in these areas, or these are the types of businesses that we would allow in certain areas, and we put that to the CHNPA.
I hear council on this matter. He suggested that with the committee is in play, and the committee usually looks at it. That's why we allow them to do that, to vet it and to determine and ascertain before it goes wherever it goes and come back wherever. So I think they deal with those plans that goes to housing, and they also deal with plans that comes from housing, then comes to this council. And they're saying that they didn't have the chance to do a vetting. So what we're basically doing is trusting your judgment.
These plans, sir, these plans here are plans that were sent earlier in the year. So the question is to ask, when these plans go to the subcommittee and the subcommittee does not agree with it, what do we do?
Here, my understanding from these plans is that it's unapproved.
The essential is for the council to decide, not the subcommittee. The full council has to decide.
I don't know if we can do anything based on that.
No, sir. The council has the authority to decide whether they want to look. That's the reason why the plans come here to the full council. When those plans are approved, the date of the meeting is set, is written on the plan when that the council is approving, not a subcommittee.
What is committee doing? What is council going to do? It referred back to the committee.
So in other words, we let in the process.
That's what you're saying is already been done 2 or 3 times.
We can record this whole thing back to the committee and then come back to the committee. We can do that. Even though it's not actually decided by a responsibility at this time, we say we want to go back to the committee, come out. We can say that. We can do that. That's how I say, but I want to fast track things. That's these steps. I don't like, but at the same time, by fast tracking, it must be done with integrity and transparency and so on and so forth. So what I'm hearing here is that this committee didn't get a chance to do this. So at the end of the day, we want to hold the committee of councillors together. We want to hold councillors along with you from you were there today.
Mr. Mayor, Council, respectfully, I think going forward, what we ought to do, as was suggested, that we look holistically at what is it that we're going to permit in certain areas. The subcommittee could look at that, have detailed discussion, look at that. Then we reach a Central Housing and Planning Authority and said, look, these are the things that we want to have. Going forward, sir, that we have these things going to a subcommittee.
Council agree.
You're not understanding the history of this thing and look at this point in this course. Are you very close? These matters never came to the council before. The signature on these plans, the approval is engineering. We had this issue when then acting town clerk was Miss Jarrett. And the then mayor, Mr. Hugh Rajan Wright, who was objecting that plans shouldn't come here, it shouldn't go there, and why the town clerk got to sign and not the mayor got to sign the right this part, you have to sign the right. If you have that short memory, you may only. And then he decided that everything was come to the committee because they had clear who plan was passed and who plan wasn't passed at the time, and who's the friend and who's not the friend. And it happened here. That's how all these plans, because Mr. Fraser, who's an old city councillor, before 2019, could recall it, those matters never come to us as councillors. When it's completed at the all agencies, GWI, public health, central housing and planning authority, and all, they come here for approval and then engineers. But then there's lots of things would have been changed on the thing because as I said, master board, master cover, everybody changed up to adopt to themselves. And that's why they end up where we are today. And now when you try to straighten it, everybody is now trying to fall back into line, but we must understand the history. That's what we must learn from the history.
So, what I think here is what we should do with this one in the council's position to be treated.
Just what.
Before we go to the top, print the order to find directly here.
I just want us to share something. The engineer there, we should sit down and determine what business should be where, and that information should go to CHD. And it will guide the engineering department also in terms of what they can do, right? So in future, we don't have this problem. We don't have to hear from Mr. Ronald and Leo. Businesses going up.
He got one and he lost the tree street. Ronald, with all due respect, so, doesn't even want a minibus from the fire pass through the street. Doesn't want a donkey cart to go through the street. Doesn't want a cow to pass through the street. I've had those meetings already. Why? I am telling you, while we can respect that it is a residential area and all of that, some people must walk through the street, some people must pass here. I don't understand. You doing development in the road, many buses and cars and everything has to divert to get to the city, and they're rejecting it. I don't have anything to do with that.
Very first thing is, this thing works. That this is instead of this, I will tell you this thought that before we send sending these money to this committee ourselves, we used to have plans for 2 or 3 and 4 years in the system. People running behind the council 2, 3, 4 years to get their plans. It is this committee getting better recognized and start calling for those plans to come forward. That's what we have to clean up at that club. Is this committee to start picking up certain things and we learn from you guys? We learn tremendously. And what we learn is that we try to ask to replay this is where you step up. Why this not happening? On the last disciplinary report, the 3rd of December, we as a committee decided, look, why this man going through this man and pay taxes? It took a while before we were able to confirm that. The gentleman there couldn't tell us. He said we're not passing this because the position is. Unless you pay up your taxes, you cannot get it. Yes. So it's more than what we can say at this. So the last time we didn't agree at the front that this plan must go back to the committee before this.
My thing now.
Take objection of Parsons plan going through without Parsons paying the taxes. That don't happen, sir, because there is a requirement. If you don't have your taxes for the year, you submit your tax for the year. You have to submit your tax for the current year. What the council has done, if the plan come over from the old year, then they ask that at least let the people pay for the first quarter. That is the only changes that was made. But you can't say that we were signing off plan. I don't sign off plan with person taxes don't pay. No. I don't sign plans.
In good faith, and taking situations, taking what happened earlier, even though we made a decision Get it, go look at it. Listen, man, I'm in for on this one. Councilor Jacob, what do you think? You're part of this committee. What do you think we should do? And I want to hear from Councilor Nancy. Then we're gonna determine whatever we move on. Let me hear it from.
From my little knowledge, and from the meeting that we had with Mr. Fraser on the 13th, I did saw 2 plans that came to us. Right, but this instance here, I would want it to come back to us, just to form, so that we have some sort of order, and then move.
All right, so those in favor of the plans going back to the small committee, so that we can be able to evaluate that position, and then we'll bring it back to the full council. Those in favor, please go ahead. No, these plans, these specific plans.
Yeah, that we didn't.
These specific plans, we voted on that. But these ones, no, but these ones here that they brought here, that they didn't bring to the small committee. So those in favor of these plans going back to the small committee and then come back to the full council, please do by the show of your hands. Yeah. Those against?
Starting at the.
No, you can see one against.
Two.
So those against the great council, I think. Everybody else is
No.
Abstention. One.
Four.
No, it's 4, right?
And 6, 24.
All right, good. Now, let's move on with, I think any other business, just quickly, let me move on. I think, Council, you want to say something? And then
Any other business?
I was going to recommend we vote on the only thing apart. I know
the majority, go right. No, that's it. Not any other business at this time. I should adjourn.
Yeah.
This meeting will be again of January. No. And I move a motion to adjourn this meeting to the 8th of January 2024. Can I have a mover? Mover is to be Council Mason, second Council Sorry.
And to vote on it.
We gotta vote.
Everybody.
Somebody else against? You're not required to have a drink and socialize and have fun and talk with them if you want to talk outside of the
I'm second.